It sucks that they don't really show you some type of preview at the end of each episode, at least not on View. I'm watching this on View, and unfortunately they don't have any previews for the upcoming episode. I would have loved to see a little bit of what's in store for us for the next episode, especially after the ending of this episode. A little preview would have been much appreciated, but again, they don't show me that on View. I don't know if you guys are watching this on any other platforms. Let me know if they showing you guys previews. If not, then I guess it's their style. Anyway, it looks like Nan is working with Time. I don't necessarily know what the relationship is, but it looks like they're working together. I don't know if they're working just the two of them, or they're working with other people, or if they're working with an organization that is trying to bring down Kon's company or Kon's investment department. And since Nan has just been captured and is being interrogated somewhere for sending classified information to, I'm assuming, Time. Now Time is going after Kon, asking him where he might be keeping Nan. Although they actually haven't shown how exactly Time is connected with this whole mess and why he's after this company. I don't know what his motives are. Why is he after this company? What has Great's family done to him or to his family? I know he mentioned earlier that when he was younger, both of his parents died. I don't know if that had anything to do with his beef with this company, but Time is obviously after this company and this operation, and he's willing to risk his life going after them. So he is very much invested in trying to bring down this company for some reason. I just don't know exactly what his motives are. Now it makes better sense, the opening of the first episode where you could see Time was clearly injured and somebody was going after him. So now Great knows that Time isn't just this handsome surgeon who's trying to get to know him more. I wonder how Great is going to be interpreting what he had just witnessed. Great is going through so much already, and adding this to his plate just sounds so overwhelming. He's probably even more confused now, probably wondering, what is Time doing here? Why would he do that to his brother? And what exactly is happening? I wouldn't be surprised if Great is not aware of the existence of this investment department that his older brother is now running. Because when Kon was initially assigned to oversee this department, he didn't even know it was existed prior to that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they've kept this away and in secret from Great. I'm curious to know if the 4-minute thing is gonna kick in shortly after learning the identity of the person that was trying to slit his brother's neck. Poor Great. I mean, he just can't catch a break. And prior to all these things happening towards the end of this episode, he was just starting to figure out what might be happening with him. He's trying to piece everything together, connect the dots, and look for patterns and actually jot down in sequence the things that were happening as he was having those 4-minute flashbacks, or being able to see into the future 4 minutes ahead of time. So he's barely trying to, acknowledge that he was going through that, and he was trying to write everything down, trying to see if there's some type of patterns to help him better understand what might be happening with him. And then before he even got to where he thinks he needs to be in terms of trying to understand what's happening, then the ending happened. This guy that he probably is starting to like, he just caught beating up his older brother. So he's going through so much. But even with all of that happening, I'm kind of glad that he's acknowledging what's happening with him, and he's actually mustered up enough courage to actually verbalize it out loud, what he was going through. And not only that, but he was also willing to get help. And that's a big step. He must have felt a sense of relief upon learning that he may not be the only person going through this, that another person that they'd mentioned who might be exhibiting similar, if not the same symptoms as him, especially with the whole 4-minute thing. I know it doesn't solve the issue, it doesn't solve the problem, but I'm sure it gave him a sense of relief that he might have somebody to talk to about this who genuinely understands what he might be going through, and who might be able to offer some pointers or guidance or tips as to how they are coping with this. So I am looking forward to their meeting. I hope that they do show that. I want to see how they interact, and I also want to know a little bit more about Lukwa, the lady, I'm assuming the lady that they're referring to, who also experienced what Great is experiencing right now. I just feel so bad for Great overall. I know he has money and he's acknowledged that he comes from a very wealthy family, but he also shared with Time that even though they were extremely wealthy, his parents were hardly ever there. He said that his parents were more focused on building their empire than being parents to him and his brother. I mean, when you consider that and you see how Great turned out, it's still pretty impressive how Great turned out to be a decent human being with good moral compass. you know, considering that he had very minimal parental guidance growing up, but he still turned out to be okay. And so did Kon for the most part. It's just unfortunate that he's been assigned to take over this leadership role running this investment department. But for the most part, this role has pretty much consumed him, so much so that he barely has any time for Tonkla. And now Tonkla is stressing out at home, not being able to get a hold of Kon, and is now looking elsewhere to get his needs satisfied. So now he's hooking up with the investigator, who seems to like him. Tonkla is something else, dude. He really wants it raw. He's asked Kon to him raw in the past, and now he's asking the same thing from the investigator, but obviously they chose safety first. And his climax, oh my god, I was not expecting that. I thought they weren't going to be able to top his love scene with Kon, but this one really took it up a notch. I don't think I've ever seen cum in any BL series, or any series for that matter. Not even in Kin Porsche. I don't remember seeing any of that. Sorry for being so graphic, but I was just taken aback by that. I was not expecting it. I just never thought that any series would go that far, but this obviously did, and I was so surprised. Obviously part of the process, it's natural, it's part of the lovemaking process. It actually made their love scene much more realistic and more compelling, but I just didn't think they would do it. You know, that is definitely a first for me. But yeah, Tonkla is very suspicious. Like, he almost feels like he doesn't want the murder case to be resolved, which makes me think that maybe he does have something to do with the death of his brother. But I wonder if Kon is ever going to find out that Tonkla is having a sneaky link while he's away. I mean, Kon is no innocent either. I mean, he's pretty much doing the same thing. Actually, if anything, he started it. He was the first one to do it. But I fear that one of these days he's just gonna walk in on Tonkla and the investigator, and it's not gonna be pretty. And I'm not even sure if Tonkla and Kon are in an exclusive relationship, but if they were, that's obviously out the window now. And I also wonder why this investigator is so invested and determined to solve this murder case. I mean, if he was still on the case and still working on it officially, then I would understand that, but he's obviously been removed from the case, and he knows how rigged and how corrupt the system is. So why continue to pursue it? Especially now that he's getting threats that if he continues to push, that he is gonna get himself killed. So why continue to push? I personally wouldn't continue to push. It's just too risky. I mean, for what? You know, why try to fight a system that is far greater and has a lot of capabilities to end you should it wishes to do so? And I have a feeling that Tonkla is gonna turn on him eventually. And I also like Great and Time's little date. They got to learn a little bit about each other's background. I like that it gave Great some time to actually enjoy life, even for short term, and get his mind off of a lot of things that's been bothering him. It's nice to see him smile, you know, because you know how much he's been going through, especially when he's alone. But for Time, I don't really know exactly what he's trying to do, but it's obviously becoming more apparent that he knows Great more than Great can remember. And based on Great's flashbacks, they've already had sex, and I'm gonna assume that at some point they were in a relationship with each other, or I wouldn't even be surprised if they still are in a relationship with each other. It's just that Great is having difficulty remembering things. But again, I enjoyed their time together. I love that they almost kissed here, and then Great had one of those flashbacks again. Unfortunately, Grandma accidentally cock-blocked them, and I guess I'll just have to wait a little bit longer to see the extended version of that kiss. And I also can't wait for the full length of their intimate scenes. Can you imagine if they go as hard as Tonkla and the investigator in this episode? Imagine. That is it for us today. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time. Let me know what you thought of this episode in the comment section down below. As always, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time. Before you go, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you won't miss my next video. Until then, I will see you